What's up, everybody? It's Kyland Young from Big Brother and the Challenge USA and the Challenge Season 39, Battle for a New Champion. And we are at the Zach NICHOLS podcast. I hope you enjoy. We're in for a fun time.
Welcome back to the Zach NICHOLS podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Zach NICHOLS. They're looking at you, bro. Say hi. Say what.
So I was like, hello? No, I'm not busy.
We're not shooting our podcast, and we don't have an incredible guest here with us, challenger from season 39 of MTV's The Challenge,
The most polarizing character on this season.
Mr. Kyland Young. One more round of applause.
I mean, I feel like it's polarizing to like everyone else and then Zach. I don't know. I mean,
Polarizing, is like polarizing doesn't necessarily mean good or bad.
No, I know what polarizing means. I promise you. I was going to walk in here and just be like, first off, Zach, I'm sorry. I'm not Ed. I feel like that must be important to you. With just you have such an affinity for Ed, and I love Ed, but then it's just like, I feel like I haven't heard you say anything that's not a backwards compliment about me. And that's
that's not true. That's not true.
All right.
I said
it's rare.
It is rare.
It's rare.
It's rare, and I'm going to tell you why.
Yes.
So I watched your Big Brother season. Yeah. And you got to also understand, like, people from Michigan, they roll hard for other people from Michigan.
Now it's coming
I'm watching your Big Brother season, and I'm all about like X. I'm like, he's an alma mater. My sister and him went to college.
Now it's coming together.
And they went to college together, and I just saw him as like, just not your typical, like, he didn't suit reality TV, and it was like he was there for a single mission. And I got, personally, the interchange you guys had when he evicted you, it hurt me. Sincerely, I felt for him in that moment. So I started out very biased against you. Now, that being said, every single move you've made this season, I've literally agreed with. And I've told him that. I'm like, I don't necessarily agree with a lot of the deliveries, but you do things at the right time. You say things at the right time. You put people on blast at the right time.
And he performs at the right time.
Well, you're also, arguably the top 3 best competitors there. You also had you got a little love triangle thing going.
Oh, he also brings that part of the game.
Brought that to it. But what I like about it is we're finally getting to see, like, we don't know where this season's going to go, but like, you were back against the corner, and I'm very impressed with the way, like, even like the things that you say in on the fly OTFs, you say the right thing at the right time. You put the right person on blast. So I have been impressed with that. Now, I'm starting to finally let go of the animosity of that situation. However, it's still a little bit there.
No.
But that's why we had you here, because we have to have, I want to hear your side of it. But it's very clear that you put a lot of eggs in the Michelle basket going in. But you're one of the only people, you and Raven are the only people that I've seen realize what's going on and actually be proactive and confident enough in yourselves to be like, hey, we can get numbers against them. And that's actually made this season for everyone, I feel like.
I mean, I would say that the thing that stands out to me about that is you say, like, me and Raven starting to realize, like, I came in not so much in the Michelle basket, so much because I didn't realize how many people she was going to. I didn't know that Michelle and Jay were going to have played with 18 of the 24 people in the house, and me played with 0 of them. Right. The only person that didn't play with any of them.
That's part of it.
That's part of it for sure. So it's just like, but early on, I remember I went in and I was talking. The only people I really knew was like Olivia and Horacio, and then kind of Nerys a little bit. And
so you didn't pre-politic at all?
No, I like literally just knew. I hung out with Olivia for like a week, and Horacio was there for like 2-3 days. And we just exercise, hung out. It was like a Super Bowl weekend parties. And then, so I came in and they're like, yo, we're rocking with Michelle and Jay. And I was like, really? Because everyone always says, don't trust Michelle and Jay. And they're like, no, they're good. And I'm like, they had our backs in Ride or Dies. It's like, come to find out, I think they only had their backs in Ride or Dies because they weren't there long enough to do anything to betray them.
Yeah.
But that was just like, I mean, I started literally in the first week, which is the second elimination with Chauncey. I was like, okay, wait a second. You guys are saying that you guys want to keep this alliance, but clearly you don't. And then we went on right after that, they throw in Raven. I'm like, all right, this isn't working. And so that's when I start talking to Raven and Zara and even Callum a little bit, because I'm like, okay, like, I'm good still, to my knowledge, with Olivia and Horacio and Nerys. And I was like, I don't know about everyone else, but I see Michelle's with Callum, so I'm thinking, all right, I can kind of like have this backup of this group here, at least like, you know, start building. But it was just, like I said, I think it's just really hard because when you play a game with somebody, you know, like you're trauma bonded. So that bond.
That's the best way I've ever heard it described.
I mean, that's probably
Trauma-bonded.
the most accurate way to respond to explain it, because it's just like, so people, they're like, oh, well, you know, Emmanuel and Michelle or whoever hung out only for a certain amount of weeks. It's like, yeah, but like those days last long. Like you're inside that house and you're cut off from the world.
Dog years.
Exactly.
They almost mean more. They almost mean more.
So you come in with these relationships and it's just like, there's only so much, you know, convincing politicking you can do to trump a relationships, and these are people had relationships.
For sure. That's
See,
tough.
and that's something we hadn't heard real quick, is that before this house, people said that don't trust Jay and Michelle. That was a thing going into the house.
Oh, dude, that's been like, that's a thing. I've heard that.
I like Twitter.
Yeah, I'm like not even in the circuit anymore because like everyone knows like, A, production's not calling me, and B, I wouldn't go regardless. But even me, I know, but people was like, don't trust them.
That's
and I
insane.
see, but here's the thing: is I see it more out of Jay than I do from Michelle. But it's crazy to me that someone like, I'm watching like Kyland. If I'm Kyland and it's like she basically was the one who made the decision, right? She's been kind of like teetering, right? Had she made, you know, gone to your guys' side, I would think that would have given you the numbers. If I'm her, I'm looking at it like Jay and Assaf or Kyland and Horacio. I'm going to go with you two because I'm going to find more safety in that, right? Now, the caveat here is Ed never chose a real side besides Emmanuel. Ed sat on this couch last week and literally told us to our faces, I should have made a deal with Horacio and Kyland, and we would have literally walked, because you guys you guys won. You were the only ones that won.
I know.
And so that's what's so crazy about this season is like you're seeing like no offense to Jay, I guess a lot of offense to him, but he has underperformed.
Correct.
He's emotionally broken down when things don't go exactly his way. Horrible game move. And he's acting like he's orchestrating it all. It's like, dude, not a good look, number one, but like I'm not siding with that ever. And I don't understand why a lot of these rookies and these younger players aren't seeing like Ed, Kyland, Horacio are going to keep me safer than Jay.
Period.
I think that
I guess Jay had the women all around.
Well, a normal season, I feel like you would look at competitors and be like, okay, these people have more chance to keep me safe. But the format of our game makes it as such that as long as you have that majority alliance, we sat at 16 people for 4 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
So it's just like, as long as I have these numbers, I'm safe and I don't have to do anything. And normally, when you throw people into elimination, you start cutting into numbers in the house. Decisions have to start being made. We don't have that. We're coming in. There's no repercussions to throwing in somebody. So like even when you guys were talking about Corey making the move with Horacio, that's when he threw in Horacio, I was like, that's not brave because literally everyone in the house is already against him. And also, if Horacio comes back, he's not like, or I come back, like we're not, oh, now Corey's our number one target.
Right.
That's like,
you've been the number one target for the whole season.
Like, I mean, no, but I'm saying even for us, like our retribution isn't going to be after Corey because that would just be pointless. And it's just like, it's still, there's still other people. So he has
you're not going to go for the body of the snake. You're going to go for the head of the snake.
Yeah.
Corey was just the body at that point. No, I get it. And that insulated a lot of people. And Jay was very insulated by the women. And had you guys probably had another week or two, you would have been able to pull them. Oh, because you got Nerys. Like, that was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But then it was Olivia and Kyland, and I had you gotten them earlier, like this last episode, which is the best episode of the season thus far.
Right.
That was a great episode.
Incredible episode. And you started it.
The competitions were good. I mean, I don't agree with
Let's get into
Zara.
Let's get into it. Let's get
into
into
it.
it.
Talking. Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
The top.
That was awesome.
Before we get into it, I just want to remind you, our live show, February 17th, here in Ferndale, Detroit, Michigan. It's going to be fun. Get your tickets right now. I got to plug that real quick.
We'll have a live stream of Zach's baby's birth as well.
Yeah, one or the other.
Time.
One or the other. One or the other.
It's actually exactly how you imagine it. Me just chilling back, trying not to pass out, and Jenna doing everything.
Doing all the work, of course.
Yep.
All right, so we come back from the CT elimination with Assaf. Number one, did you dap up CT? And then how do you compare yourself physical to him if you did say that?
Like when you think CT, you probably like have these like ideas in your head. How did or had you seen him before?
I had not seen CT.
So how did his appearance in real life, how was that compared to like what you had what you pictured in your head?
I feel like CT has fluctuated so much. And I feel like when I was watching him on Spies Lies or Double Agents, he was lean. And then he walked in. First off, he's carrying this giant malice.
Yeah.
Or mace or whatever. And the chaos stick. And he comes in and he's bigger. Like, he was actually bigger than I expected. So I was like, damn, like, he's big. And you already know that he's smart. So it's kind of like, it was pretty cool to see. You know, you get excited.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, excited.
Yeah.
He's like, he's in the reality TV Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Did you dap him up?
Yeah.
Did you like?
Oh, no. So that was the downside, is that, like, we don't get to, they had at first you could run down and, like, say what's up, like, in the little in between shot moments.
Yep.
But towards the end, they kind of stopped that. So we were just stuck on stage, and then he was gone.
I'm gonna assume you guys are similar sized. I haven't met him, but I'm just curious how that was.
I think he might be a little bit shorter than you, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm like 6'1". Like,
okay, then you guys are right around the same height.
Just about. Okay, now before we move on from this elimination, where do you stand with Assaf now, and how do you assess him as an athlete? I have to ask.
Okay, how do we assess Assaf as an athlete? I think he's a pretty solid athlete. I think he won Ninja Warrior. He is a like gymnast, and is always outside crawling around the ground doing like all these calisthenic stuff.
Which might help him in a game like this.
Yeah, he's a physical like specimen. He's like, I feel like he is. Sometimes I feel like he gets a little bit big for his britches. Like he's the specimen, but
a little bit big for his britches.
We call him the village idiot over here.
Yeah.
I mean, here's what I'll say. Here's my thing with Assaf. My thing with Assaf is that after our whole incident, because of what happened on Big Brother, I was like, you know what? Back then, I was super confident that what I said was perfect, and it wasn't, and I had to own up to that. So after the thing happened with me and Assaf and Melissa, I was like, you know what? Maybe I messed up. Maybe I said something. So I was like, let me be nice. Let me apologize. I did all that and was just being kind. And then afterwards, I find out that he's been like, not just in the confessionals, but then in interviews and stuff, he's like, oh yeah, Kyland came. He's like kissing my ass and all this, and just he just started sucking up to everybody. And I was like, my guy, like, I was just trying to be polite because I thought I messed up. And then when I watch it back, I'm like, actually, I stand exactly by what I said, so I'm fine with it. So now that was hilarious. Like, yeah, I just was like,
that was great.
Wait till the reunion. Actually, really.
Wait for the reunion.
It was, but yeah, I think so. That's why I'm just like, when anything's personal has been said about Assaf, whether it's about his religion or just him as a person, like him, even stuff that's like Assaf's an idiot and all that, like I don't like these tweets because I noticed that people have been using opportunities to attack Assaf for reasons like anti-Semitic reasons that I don't fuck with. So I feel like that's been, I don't like any of the tweets. If they're personal attacks, I don't share anything. And so I'm just like, okay, like why are you gonna be out here be disrespectful when I'm like feeling bad about this? Because when I cut deep. So that's why I'm just like, I'm not gonna do it unless provoked. And it's getting to that point where it's provoked. We'll see if he continues or not, because we did finally talk.
I thought it was good because it kind of, like, when you did that, this is one of those examples of when I thought it was like, I'm like, this is very smart, because when you're watching it from my perspective now as a fan, I'm like, okay, he seems to be, something's not connecting. And that basically confirmed to me as a viewer that he's saying things and he's just saying whatever anyone wants to hear.
Yeah.
And someone needed to do that for us to be like, oh yeah, he's literally trying to get everyone on his good side so they won't say his name. That was awesome. I don't think you were wrong by saying that at all. I think I thought that was actually and I also thought it was great every time you were like, well, everyone in here threw me in and they're probably going to try to sabotage it. By saying they're going to sabotage it, you made it so that everyone was making sure they didn't. That's a smart move.
Yeah,
but that time, it's funny. Michelle said she got so pissed because that was the first time she wasn't sabotaging me.
Doesn't matter.
I was like, damn. Like,
when you won, when you won the most recent one.
No. The one on top of the tower when she got pissed off. Yeah, because I asked. I was like, hey, do we need to worry about her like sabotaging us?
Which is smart because
it's just an ask.
It highlighted that you knew it was a possibility. That was smart. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm like, damn, like he's in control. You're in control of cerebrally, you're in control. Like Horacio had no idea he was getting sabotaged.
Yeah.
You didn't ever have that. Like that's part of being on the show is being cognizant of the situation. I think that comes from, like you say, you're a student of the challenge. You've watched them all, right? So you see, like, this could happen here, this could happen there, and to raise the awareness to it. So what was your favorite season to watch?
Well, so I haven't watched all of the seasons. I've watched almost every elimination and challenge because like I'm not.
Oh, you don't really care about. You want more of like, what can I see? What are my possibilities? Yes, I get that.
Yes, but the ones that I have watched, I was a pretty big fan of Rivals and Rivals 2.
Rivals 2 was a good season. As well.
And that was CT's first win, I think.
Yeah.
That one, that one was pretty dope. I like the War of the Worlds. The second one. I feel like it has a lot of drama. It has people that I know. So I think that was kind of like
it does help.
It helps.
Yeah, that's what helped me get into Big Brother. Was I was like, let me see this Pauly kid. Let me see Josh.
Yeah.
So I got into Big Brother, and then I did get hooked on several seasons. But
you can.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's like you get into it.
What's a standout season for you from Big Brother? Besides
I liked your guys' season for sure. But I think the one that I was probably most entertained with was I like the All-Star season. So the one that Boogie won, or even the one that Cody won.
Okay.
I also like do think it's cool watching people from. I like when Nicole goes on and wins because I think she's the most unassuming Big Brother competitor ever, and then she somehow dominates. Oh, not now, no, but she dominates. So those are standout seasons to me. But I like the War of the Worlds too. Yeah, as well. Those were good. I thought that was a great way to introduce a lot of new characters.
Characters that not only have stood the test of time, but like people still ask for. People still ask for your Rogans. They still ask for Kyle. Man. And no, it's great. And hopefully,
So, anyways, speaking of Rogan, we come back to the house, right? And I did notice in the end of the last episode during the nominations, and through this point, like you're feeling good. Like, dare to say you're gloating a little bit.
Gloating and glowing.
So
the
gloating came from that deliberation to get the stalemate.
I got you there. I saw you like what a time you had.
You guys don't.
You couldn't stop smiling.
I was giddy. I was like cracking up. I was like, oh my gosh! Like you guys, this is finally this.
And you're safe.
I was working. Yeah, and I'm safe. And I was working on that in the line on our way down to deliberation. Like on our way down, Ed's like, it's gonna be me. I was like, Ed, shut up.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be you. Relax. Just hold on. I'm working and I'm talking to Olivia in line. Like, no, this is where we have to do this. We need the stalemate and to get in front of their plans. And so that's why that moment, that was one of my favorite moments was when they were going around the couch. And after the second time, after Corey tried to ruin the stalemate, and Ed was just like, I saw the light bulb pop up above his head. I was like, oh my gosh. And then it just cracked me up because everybody, like Emmanuel and Jay and all them were like, they acted like, oh my God, this is going to be so exciting. Like we have a stalemate. And then they go up and you see their little tantrums and stuff. And I was like, all right, guys, like you guys aren't really about it, which I knew, but it just was funny to see them.
It is nice to finally be on the other side of that, especially like and at this point in the game, when you've gone into several elimination rounds and there's people that haven't, like I've been on both sides of that where like you look at, like I've been the person that looks at those other people like, I've been here the same amount of time as you. I've been doing all this work. You've done nothing. You suck. And I've also been on the other end where like someone's gone in like 3 or 4 times and I haven't even been mentioned to go in. And I'm sitting there thinking like, please don't say anything. I've done jack shit. You've earned your spot here. Like I'm just like part of production at this point. So like you can just see, like I said this last time, like you can just see that happiness, and it's almost like I wanted you to control that a little bit, have a little bit more of a poker face. But it also, I think, helped in like escalate into what we saw when you got back from the elimination round was you were smiling and it was enough to set off the old hypocrite Jay.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. He's been in this like safety cocoon telling people, oh, it's just a game this whole season. And then things start to not go his way and he loses it. And so what makes me think of Rogan is if he ever said anything about getting physical with me, I would just be like, just like you and Rogan, huh, Chief? Because we need to flash back to the screenshot of him on the ground with sand on his face, literally looking forward like, what did I get myself into?
I think one of the TE Twitters posted that next to it. Because I was like,
someone had to.
I never knew he said that. I never knew he would have the audacity to say that. I just, it's funny.
And we're weeks off of him doing a challenge and Michelle being like, oh my gosh, Jay, this is embarrassing. You're terrible. Like, this is awful. So we're weeks away from him like being stalemated by a 125-pound sled. And now he's like in his interview. This is the definition of a TV tough guy, by the way, everyone. In his interview being like, if it gets physical, it gets physical.
But guess what? Here, that's my LOL line of the night.
All right,
and gets physical. And I hold like
like I've already said, like I like to hold back on a lot of things, like when it comes to personal or just people getting made fun of or whatever. And I like same thing for Jay. Like I haven't been liking any of the stuff, but now I think watching, especially these recent episodes, I'm like, because even when they showed us on the boat, what people don't know is like me and Jay, we're on the back of the boat when there's no camera or whatever. He comes to like apologize for the for that blow up that he did because I like I kept it cool, and he like was having this what I thought was like a very real outside the game moment where he's like, you know what, like, you know, I did blow up and I'm sorry, and like, you know, you know, I still want the game to be separate, and I'm not afraid of you and Rossio in the final, like that's not why I'm doing this and all that, and like I was just, and because I know Jay and I see the best in people, so I was kind of like, you know what, like I'm glad I didn't snap back at him when he was freaking out because I was like, you don't want to kick somebody when they're down. And his friend left and he was sad, and so I just was like, all right, like. Cool. He just got very personal off camera, and I was like, but now I'm watching. I'm like, so why? Like, why bother? Like to what end? Like, there's nothing you're gonna get from me. There was nothing to be gained. It was just like the same thing with Nerys and that whole decision. It's just like, why? Like sometimes you just do things that are unnecessary, and then you're like, well, why is everybody upset? It's like, why did you do that?
I have a rant, but go ahead.
He's on his Britney Spears. This is his Britney Spears vibe right now.
He's schizophrenic. I have a rant on Jay.
It's just very hypocritical because when things haven't gone his way in the past or even on this season, he has total meltdowns. Like when the crowd noise got him eliminated in Ride or Dies, he freaked out. But then he's a big crowd noiser this season. Like, dude, like he doesn't understand how big of a hypocrite he looks like. And I agree. Like personal attacks on like looks and that sort of thing. Like I think they're funny, but like I think we should stray away from that. Like that should be like I just don't think he's giving himself an opportunity to be liked this season.
All right,
it's a very unlikable edit.
Well, he says he named the villain, and it's like, but I mean, my guy.
Yeah.
At a certain point, there's not an edit. Like,
I got to do my J rant.
Do it.
Yeah.
All right, so that concludes the free preview of the Zach Nichols podcast.
So go to Patreon and subscribe to see the rest of the shit that we talk.
Go do it now.